Bitcoin, Lightning Network, and a lot of what I think kind of you started out, and as you said in 2010 when you read that Bitcoin white paper and economic freedom. How do you think about like the blue chip assets in the space and Bitcoin specifically, and how that has evolved since you first came across that white paper?
Bitcoin is kind of what got me super excited about crypto in the first place. And I still am excited about it. I hold a ton of a ton of Bitcoin. But I think that, it's going to be around forever as basically, the gold or the money of this industry. I'm seeing adoption and interest across a lot of different assets. I think that's generally a good thing. Coinbase has always tried to be agnostic about which one wins and which one doesn't. Like, we just want to basically serve our customers with whatever they want to do. So I always am a little frustrated seeing some of the tribalism that happens online. And I always, Twitter is kind of built for conflict and warfare, and I don't think it actually represents what the majority of the industry feels, which is probably a much more nuanced view, which I know you have as well. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's great. It's been really cool, by the way, seeing some of the Lightning Network adoption just happening in El Salvador with like McDonald's and all these things. And so I think it's great. I think we should keep building that stuff.
Is it fair to say in some way, and I've started to see this with folks who've been around for a long time, that Bitcoin early on was like incredibly intellectually exciting, and they really dove into it and pulled them into this industry. And there's almost this sense of like inevitability to it. Like you said, Bitcoin's gonna be around forever. And people who are builders, they start to become intellectually interested in other things as well. Doesn't mean they lose interest in the original thing, but just like their aperture almost expands. Is that kind of a fair way to think about how your journey in crypto has happened?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Bitcoin was a huge breakthrough, both in computer science, but also kind of economics and all these things. But it spawned a whole industry and a lot of other innovation that's sort of derivative of that work. And so I'm always kind of interested in what's on the frontier and what's getting the most adoption in different areas. So I think we're quickly going to end up, we already are in this world where the crypto economy is built of a number of different assets and blockchains that have different purposes, whether that's to be sort of gold or payments or security contracts or gaming or derivative, so there's more and more things that are going to keep coming out. I think my guess is that we'll eventually be in a world where there's maybe dozens of blockchains, but there's millions or billions of tokens. And you could imagine all kinds of things that people use those for, right? Every organization that comes out, maybe even every individual, or these NFTs and all this stuff. These are all, there's going to be so many tokens that it's like kind of hard to even imagine where that ends.
Last question on Bitcoin is Lightning Network. You mentioned the adoption, especially El Salvador, obviously, and also corporations there. Coinbase and many other exchanges, but Coinbase, I looked before, hasn't integrated with the Lightning Network. Are there certain milestones or things that you look at and you're like, hey, once there's a certain amount of adoption or nodes or capacity or something, that then you guys would say, hey, let's go do that? Or is it something you're just kind of monitoring and it's, day by day is when you'll make that decision?
Yeah, so I was actually asking the team about this earlier and looking at some of the adoption stats of, you can sort of look at how many Bitcoin are tied up in Lightning channels, and you can look at sort of similar stats across other L2 solutions just to get a sort of a sense. But what I haven't actually been able to find is a good metric that just looks at, how many transactions a day are happening on the different L2 solutions out there. And I think generally we want to be supporting all of them that are getting some reasonable threshold of attraction. But if there's one that's like really breaking out, then that kind of helps us think about from a UX point of view, which ones to emphasize, because I do think there's essentially some sort of a cost or an overhead for the average person coming into crypto. Like, we need to expand the circle of not just like super sophisticated early adopters to like, what's the next level and the next level. So we need to get billions of people into using crypto. And so there's a cost, the more sort of jargon and options that we throw at them in these interfaces. One of the teams that I spun up this year at Coinbase was called the protocol team. And their whole job is just scale blockchains. Okay, that's like kind of the mandate of that team. And they're looking across all these different things, Lightning and the ETH solutions and whatnot, and also just scaling it from, how many taps do you have to do to like complete a payment, which I still think has way too much friction. But the more we can get that kind of stuff working, I feel like it's going to be a huge unlock for the industry. How do we get like the next 100 million or billion people using crypto, we've got to get the throughput, the scalability increased. I think it's just like going from 56K modems to broadband. It's going to be an order of magnitude increase in usage of crypto, and therefore probably the value in crypto as well.
What's up, guys? Bang, bang. Thanks so much for watching the Best Business Show today. If we're going to be the best business show, we obviously need the best partner. That's why the exclusive sponsor of the Best Business Show is SoFi. They're an all-in-one platform that allows you to invest in all kinds of different assets, including stocks, ETFs, crypto, IPOs, and they even have an automated investing function, if that's your thing. So before we start getting after it again, make sure that you go download SoFi, you get an invest account, and when you make your first crypto trade, regardless of what you buy, they'll give you $10 in Bitcoin for free. It's that simple. Head on over to SoFi.com/pomp to get started today. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you come back and watch more of the Best Business Show tomorrow.